know that if a business calls a lead within 1 minute of them opting in, the chances of that lead converting increases to over 400%. That's why in this video, I'm going to show you an AI agent that we built that's going to call back these leads within 30 seconds, ask qualifying questions to qualify the customer, check availability on a calendar, and even book the appointment. And this is all done 24/7 without lifting a finger. My name is Ashton. I help businesses implement AI systems to fill up their calendars, book more appointments, all at the same time as saving time, saving money, and cutting costs in them. So let me show you exactly how this works, how we build it, and I'm also going to show you a live demo of the system in action. So without further ado, let me show you my screen and let's jump into it. All right, now just before I show the demo, I just kind of want to explain some of the key benefits and what really these AI agents have a impact on for these businesses, some of the softwares we're going to be using to make this happen, and also the overall flow of the agent and how everything works. So let's get right into it. So firstly, these are some of the core benefits of these AI agents is, they're available 24/7. So whenever leads are calling in or whenever leads are calling in at after hours, these business owners can't often pick up the phone. They're very busy. They're doing a lot of things after hours, and that's totally understandable. But, having an AI agent there to call back these leads, when they're submitting forms after hours is really beneficial for these businesses. So this really just ensures that, no lead is ever missed, and it just increases that revenue as well for the business by being able to contact every single lead at no matter what the time is. And they're also much cheaper than hiring staff. So they have no salaries, they have no breaks, and they have no time off as well. So these AI agents are obviously so much more cheaper than staff, and they often do a way better job as well. And thirdly, they're also highly scalable. So in this example, I'm going to be using a roofing company or home service company, and a lot of these home service companies, and I'm sure you're very familiar with a lot of other businesses as well, but they get really busy in short periods amount of times. There's a few months out of the year that they're extremely busy, they're extremely booked out, and having that AI agent there, it also gives the business the ability to handle multiple conversations at once. So having that AI agent calling all these leads, following up, just really makes sure that the business can maximize their profit in those busy months, and it's also really scalable. So that's the whole point of this AI agent. And lastly, obviously that speed to lead is really important. Calling back that lead while their buying intent is hot is just going to increase the chances of the business and us converting that lead. So that's kind of the main benefits of these AI agents, and obviously they're so much more cheaper. They save the business a bunch of time, and they reduce their overheads and cut the costs massively. So yeah, so basically now I just want to kind of go over some of the softwares we're going to be using in this video to kind of make this AI agent happen. So firstly, we're going to be using GoHighLevel. Now GoHighLevel is kind of like a all-in-one platform that we use for our business as well. It's really great, but we also use it for a lot of our other clients, so they can use tools on the platform. But I won't get too much into that in this video, but all we're using GoHighLevel for is to create the form for the business. So whenever a lead submits that form via the business's website, or if it's an ad or whatever it is, right, our AI agent is then going to trigger an automation to then send to make.com. So I'll show you actually what that looks like kind of after the demo, but all GoHighLevel is really doing, creating the form, and then it's triggering the first set of automations. And then from there, we're also going to be using Make. So Make is kind of automation software, and it's kind of the back end and the brains of the operation, connecting GoHighLevel, connecting Retell, and connecting a bunch of different apps and softwares. And it also allows us to automate it as well. So we're going to be using Make to connect the GoHighLevel lead information to Retell AI, so to trigger that outbound call. And then it's also going to be able to handle backend automation. So it's going to be checking availability, it's going to be booking the calls on the calendar, and it's going to be communicating to Retell AI while the AI agent is speaking to the customer. So that's what Make is going to be doing. And then finally, Retell AI. So this is the platform we're going to be using to build the voice AI agent. So this is going to be handling real-time phone calls, gives us the ability to have conversations with leads, ask qualifying questions. So I'll get more into kind of what we use Retell AI for, but it's just kind of the all-in-one platform that allows us to build these really cool AI agents. So that's kind of all the softwares we're going to be using today. And yeah, so now I just kind of wanted to go over the kind of the flow process for the AI agents. So just to keep it really simple, whenever a lead fills out a form, it's then going to trigger a AI agent call to the lead, using the number that they used to fill out the form. It's then going to introduce itself and explain the reason for the call. Now, because this is an outbound call, we want to be polite, we want to be friendly, even though they just reached out, but that's going to be the first step that it does. Then it's also going to ask the customer qualifying questions as well. So this is really important, as I said, again, for a lot of these home service businesses and businesses in general, is especially home service, they might have a budget or jobs they only take over, 10,000, 15,000, whatever it is. And the AI agent is going to qualify this customer, and it's going to be constantly checking the qualification criteria. And if they are qualified, it's going to move forward. So as I said, again, maybe they're looking to get started in 3 months, and the business only takes projects within 1 to 2 months, or the budget is $5,000 and above. So it's just going to make sure that the customer is qualified and has high buying intent. And then finally, it's going to suggest a availability within the calendar. So it's going to be constantly checking the calendar, and I'll show you what that automation looks like in Make. But whenever the AI agent or the customer suggests a time, it's going to be checking that calendar back and forth. So yeah, and then once the calendar time is approved, it's then going to ask the customer for a name and address. And then from there, once the address is confirmed, it's going to book the appointment with all the details actually in the notes. So hopefully that makes everything a little bit more clear for you guys that are watching. But yeah, that's kind of the overall flow of this AI agent. And yeah, now I'll show you a demo of how it works in real time. So it's basically going to work. I'm going to submit a form here with some of my details, and the AI agent is going to call me, ask questions, suggest availability, and book me into a calendar. So let me just do that right now, and I'll fill out my details, and then I'll submit it, and the AI agent's going to call me. So I've just filled out my details, and I'm going to press submit. And then we will be getting a call from the AI agent soon. So I'll show you my phone when it calls me, and as you can see, it is calling me right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and answer it, and yeah, we'll see what it does. Hello?
Hey Ashton, how's your day going?
Yeah, good, how are you?
I'm great, thanks for asking. I'm Sarah from Modern Roofing. I'm just giving you a quick call because you filled out a form about roofing services with us. Is now a good time to chat for a minute?
Yeah, sure, I'm free now.
Nice to meet you, Fredo. Just a couple of quick questions to get started. First up, how old is your property roughly?
It's about like 15 years old probably.
Thanks for that. And are you thinking about minor repairs under 5,000, restoration work between 5 and 15,000, or maybe a full replacement over 15,000? Or do you have a different budget range in mind?
Yeah, we were looking for a full replacement, so yeah, around the $15,000 mark.
Awesome, thanks for letting me know, Fredo. Based on that, you're a great fit for a free roof inspection, so we can give you some proper options. Would you like to book that in? If so, what day and time works best for you?
Yeah, sure. Do you guys have availability like next week, maybe?
Absolutely, we can definitely look at next week for you. Is there a particular day or time that works best, or are you pretty flexible?
Yeah, I'm pretty flexible. What do you guys have?
No worries, Fredo. Let's see how does Tuesday afternoon sound for you. Would that work, or would you prefer another day or time?
Yeah, sure, that works.
Looks like for Tuesday afternoon, the next available slots are actually at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., or 7 p.m. Would any of those times work for you, or would you like to try a different day?
Yeah, 5 p.m. works, yeah.
Before I lock that in, can I grab the address where you'd like the inspection done? Just need the full address, including suburb and postcode.
Yeah, sure. So it's 123 Main Drive, and the postcode is 4521 in Brisbane.
Thanks, Fredo. So just to confirm, that's 123 Main Drive, Brisbane, 4521, and we're booking you in for a free roof inspection on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Is all that correct?
Yep, that's good, yep. All right, and as we can see, it's just booked it into the Google Calendar. So if we go ahead and look at it, I think it got my name wrong. It originally said my name, but then I think it got it wrong. But you kind of get the whole idea of it. I think it got mixed up. But yeah, it said roof inspection for me, you know, at Tuesday, 5 p.m. And then it has the address down here with the location. So, you know, in terms of the business owner's perspective, it can see all the information here. It can see that it's a full replacement. It can see the name of the person, and then can also see the address where the service place is going to take place. So, you know, in terms of the business owner, they can literally go ahead, confirm these details, maybe call them up and say, look, I'm coming over. But yeah, and you can also obviously customize any of these things that it has in Google Calendar. You can customize it and integrate with literally any calendar that has an API. So, you know, they're fully customizable, all these systems as well. But you just saw it, and I'll just quickly show you the email that I got as well. But yeah, you can see here, it just sent me an email on my phone for the roof inspection. So yeah, that's basically how the entire AI agent works. But yeah, I'll show you exactly how we build this system and kind of how everything works. So I'll see you there. Right, so we're in GoHighLevel. So this is kind of where the entire automation starts and how everything gets started. But by the way, I just want to mention, if you are a business owner and you are looking for any AI solutions or integrate AI in your business to help you save time, cut costs, or make more money as well, feel free to book a free call below. I'll be happy to help you out, answer any questions. But yeah, I'll get right into it here. So this is going to be the GoHighLevel module here, which is as soon as a trigger or as soon as a form is submitted right here, it's then going to trigger this automation. And then from there, it's going to update a contact field to a contact raw phone number. So the reason why I have to do this is because Retell has to have the numbers in international format, so with the country code, and updating the contact field with the international format here is something that we had to do in GoHighLevel. So basically from there, it's then going to send out a custom webhook to Make. So it does this by a URL, and this URL is connected to Make, which I'll show you in the next module. So it gets that information from the form, and then it sends it to this URL webhook address here in Make. And basically it's sending this in form as a JSON format. So it has the name, email, and phone, and that's all that it's sending. But you can even go further and like put down different values here. Like if you could have, like, you know, service type, like, you get the idea. You could have different information from the form, actually put it in here, but for now I just put the email and phone and the name. And then yeah, that's kind of really all that this module is doing. It's getting the information from GoHighLevel and it's sending it to Make to then kind of start and kick everything off. So all right, and these are all the automations we're going to be using in Make to kind of make this happen. So we've got 3 main automations here, which is going to be the booking for the appointment, the checking the availability on the calendar, and then also triggering an outbound call. So I'll jump into the first one in Retell. So let's wait for it to load. So yeah, as you can see here, that this is a really simple automation. All it's doing is just triggering an outbound phone call. So as soon as that form is submitted, it's passed through this workflow in GoHighLevel. And then, as I said again, this URL is connected to here, which is the webhook. So this webhook is waiting for data. And then from there, it's going to be passed to Retell AI to create a outbound phone call. So literally, it's going to be using the Retell AI phone number it's going to be calling from, and then the phone number of the prospect here, which is my phone number in that case, which you just saw, then also the name and email down here. So it's basically passing that information to the AI agent to then generate a phone call. So that's all that's really happening in this automation. It's super simple, but now I'm going to go into Retell AI. I'll show you how the AI agent's built, and then I'll also show you the 2 other automations within there that's connected to Retell AI. All right, so we're now in Retell AI, and as I said again, this is the platform that we use to build all these AI agents, connect and send out different automations. But I'll just quickly run you through kind of what we did here, what kind of some of these features mean, because, you know, it can seem a bit daunting for some people hopping on here for the first time. But I'll just kind of run through everything. So first of all, this is the model, so the large language model or the AI model that we're using. So we use 4.1 in this case. It's pretty cheap. It's really good as well. So, you know, these AI models are only going to get better and better, which is really good for us and really good for business owners that we work with, because not only are they getting better results from the AI, but they're also helping their business by having better AI models behind these AI agents. So that's kind of everything there. And then they also have a bunch of voices here. I just use one of the default voices, but they use 11 Labs mostly. They're really good. And you can just literally pick out any voice. They have a huge list of them. You can pick out genders, different accents. So I'm in Australia, so I usually pick an Australian accent there. And yeah, you can customize the voice of the agent. Then you got the language here, and then up the top it says the cost. So these AI agents usually range from like pretty cheap, like I think it's around 10 cents to upwards of 14 cents really. But yeah, these are really cheap AI agents, and if you compare that to a human, I don't know what humans cost per minute, but I know it's not 10 cents a minute. So these AI agents are just much cheaper, as I said again. And then coming across down here, which is the prompt. So if you don't know what a prompt is, it's basically telling the AI agent what to do, what tasks to perform, how to speak to the customer on the phone, and just a bunch of information. So really, the more detailed and the more concise the prompt is you give to the AI agent, the better the results are going to be. So I'm not going to go through the entire prompt, but I'll just kind of show you the whole gist of it. So we use a very certain format for the AI agent. So we always include these different information. So we have the role here. We have the lead information. So with a lot of outbound agents, we have to give the AI agent the lead information right here. And then some of the business informations, the task, the criteria. So this is the qualification criteria. I think it's up here. Sorry. Yeah. Qualification criteria is up here. And then an example conversation. So an example conversation is really important. It gives the AI kind of a script to follow in the call. So if the script goes off or veers off, or if a customer's asking too many questions or something's happening, the AI agent's going to kind of look at this script and revert back to the script. So an example conversation is really important. And then we've got guidelines. So telling how the AI agent how to speak, not to be too robotic, stutter, do like arms, ahs, just trying to replicate a human as much as possible. And then these are some of the rules to follow finally, which is, stick to all the steps, wait for responses, always run the check availability function, and kind of those things in depth. But I'll just quickly go back up to the task so you guys can see how the AI agent works. But yeah, literally at the start, we're giving the AI agent its role, so experienced sales rep, giving some background information on the business, and then the task. So the AI agent's going to follow these exact steps. So it's going to greet the person. So as you saw on the demo, it greeted me. It says, "How are you going? Do you have time for a call?" Then it's going to explain why it's calling, and then ask and go into the qualifying question. So it asks, "How old is your property?" Just so the business and the person can understand if they're a good fit. And then ask about their budget. So these are kind of some of the services they could provide. So full replacement, restoration work, minor repairs. And then from there, it'll then go on and check the criteria. So I just put, for example, if it's over 100 years old, it might not be worth it actually going in there and installing something, or if the budget is less than 2,000. So that's just an example there. It can really be customized to the business's criteria and how it works. So basically from there, it's then going to ask to schedule an inspection. So it's then going to ask the customer what time works for you, or the AI agent can also suggest a time based on what the customer says as well. And then this is the function. So I'll go up here and kind of explain what these mean. So these are kind of the functions and different automations that we connect to Make to be able to tell the AI agent to check the calendar and also book the appointment. So these two functions here are really important, which is booking the appointment and then checking the availability. So we tell the AI agent here in the steps, as soon as the customer or you suggest a time, you must check the availability of the appointment. So that's what these functions are doing here. And then I'll go into kind of how they connect to Make, and then I'll also tell you how the Make automations work as well. But yeah, that's really it for that step. And then it collects the service address, and then it also confirms and books the appointment after that, and then runs the book appointment function. So that's kind of everything that it does, all the steps. It's pretty simple, this prompt actually. And then yeah, really, again, example conversation. But yeah, and I will leave this prompt down in the link description in some of the resources. So if you want to have a look at it, or if you want to implement it in your own business or in your own systems, feel free to have a look at that as well. But that's kind of everything for the prompt. And then we've got the welcome message down here. So obviously, because it's an outbound call, we're going to wait for the person to respond. Yeah. That's really it. I also wanted to touch base on the knowledge base. So this is a knowledge base. So whenever the customer asks the questions, maybe about their opening hours or what services do they provide, or any information about the business, the AI agent's going to refer to this knowledge base when the customer is asking about any questions. So that's kind of the whole purpose of that. And then some of these settings down here I haven't really touched, but building these agents, you can actually customize. You can put background sound, you can put you can enable back channeling, transcription mode, a bunch of different things to really make the AI as realistic as possible. So, and that's really it. I'm not going to go into these settings in this video here, but finally I want to touch base on some of the functions. So first, this is the check availability function. So really the whole point of this is, in the description, is to check the availability of a time slot after it is requested by the lead. So if a lead requests a time slot, it's then going to run this function and it's going to send this information via JSON to Make. So this URL here is the same. It's another webhook to make.com, and the information it's going to be sending there is the requested time slot. Now, we need to put this in ISO 8601 format, because that way it's very easy for the AI to translate into a time. It gives us an exact time as well. The reason we have to do this is because if if the AI just sends 5 p.m. Tuesday, it's not going to give it a specific time to book or check an availability within the automation. So that's all that we're doing here. I will leave this in the description as well, in the resources. So if you want to build this exact agent or implement it, you can just copy everything that I'm doing here. But yeah, that's really what's happening in this function right here. And then this is the book appointment function. So yeah, this tool is used to book the appointment. So exactly the same thing. We're sending that information to Make to then book the appointment. But it's a little bit different in the parameters right here. So we have, anyway, I think I did something. Yeah, anyway, sorry. Yeah, we have the different parameters. So we have the full name of the customer. We have the service type. So it's actually going to go ahead and the AI is going to identify the service type and then send it to Make, which then will actually include on the description of the booking and in the calendar. So then it's going to provide the full address and then the time and then the customer's email address. So that's really all that this one is doing. It has a little bit more properties and a little bit more values, but again, it's just using the information that is collected, formatting it in a JSON and sending that to make.com. So, that's pretty simple agent. And then it has an end call one. I think I mentioned it down here. So yeah, as soon as someone, end the call politely once they've answered all the questions and completed the booking. So those are all the functions. Again, you can add a bunch of different functions. Like you can send SMSs once an appointment's complete. You can do a bunch of different custom functions, and these AI agents are really customizable for all these different businesses. So that's kind of everything in this section and how we build the AI agent. Again, you can go a lot more in depth with Retell. There's a bunch of different formats and a bunch of different settings you can use to create different AI agents, but this is what we're going to be using in this video. But now I'll jump into Make, and you can actually see how the AI agent books appointments and checks availability using these functions. So I'll see you there. All right, so now we're in make.com, and the last two automations I'm going to go over is the book appointment and check availability. So we'll start with the more complex one, which is the check availability. Now, essentially, as you saw in Retell, it's got that information, it's formatted by JSON, and then it's gone in and sent it to Make right here. So essentially, what it's doing is, as soon as that information comes in, it's then going to go to GBT and complete a booking time. So what I mean by that is, as you saw in the, I'll just go to the recent history here. But yeah, as you saw in Retell for the check availability, it put the time format in this specific format. And basically what the first module is doing here is it's getting GBT to go and then translate that format to put into Google Calendar and check availability. So this is kind of the operations that it did now. You can see the result. So basically in the prompt, all I told it is to transfer that time into a more digestible format for Google Calendar. And then it's going to get busy information. So it's going to get free/busy information. So basically that means it's checking availability within the calendar. And then if it is available, it's then going to go down here and directly send the webhook response back to the AI agent. And then if it's not, it's then going to go down this path. So once it checks if the requested time is available, it's then going to choose, is it available? If it is, then it's going to send a response back to the agent via webhook. And if it's not, then it's going to go down this path and suggest more time slots. So again, it's basically doing the same thing. We're using these tools and we're using these JSONs here to format the time from Google Calendar. Again, just make it more simple for the automation software to use. Yeah, and then from here, it then gets more suggested times. So you can see it's gone and actually got some more suggested times here. And then really from there, it then converts the same format. So it converts the UTC format into GMT plus 10. So this is the format that's my time zone. So it basically takes that ISO 116 format and then converts it into our time zone. So the whole point of this is just to make the AI agent have a better understanding of the time and make it easier for it to process. So basically from there, it's then going to find alternative times and then it's going to generate a message to the user. That's basically what's going to be happening is it's going to find alternative times and then ChatGPT is going to be like, okay, these are the alternative times. Let's create a message that we can then send to the user. And then from there, basically it's going to be resulting that user right there and sending it via webhook back. So it's a little bit complicated, but I didn't really want to go into detail too much of like how I formatted everything, but hopefully you can understand that. I will leave this down in the description if you want to go check it out. You can actually see how I formatted everything, but I just kind of wanted to show you how this kind of works on the back end and how we build all of this. But yeah, again, yeah, these webhooks, I just want to mention these webhooks are receiving the information and then it's sending the information back to Make. So that's kind of the webhook response. Hopefully you understand that. But yeah, that's kind of the entire check availability module. So hopefully you understand that. Hopefully you get a bit of a better idea of how it works. So now I'm going to go into the book appointment format. So actually how the AI agent books the appointment. And this is the last kind of automation that I have in here, which is basically telling the AI agent to book the appointment. So if we go back into here, into book appointment. So basically to kind of map it out, you know, as soon as the AI agent gets that time, it's going to go through that automation, confirm the time with the customer, and then send it back to Retell. And then Retell is now going to use that time and confirmation to then book the appointment, which is this next custom function here. So as I said, again, it's sending all this information via JSON format into this webhook right here. And then it's going to, again, convert the time into GMT plus 10 and then create a calendar event and then return it to the customer, basically saying your appointment has been booked. So it's pretty simple. This is what this automation is doing. But yeah, this is kind of everything and how I kind of built everything on the back end. So that's kind of be it for this video. Hopefully it gives you a better idea of how these AI agents are built, how these AI agents are really impacting the business and the business world. But again, if you are a business owner and you are looking to implement AI in your business to save time, save money, cut costs, and also drive growth within your business, feel free to book a call in the link in the description. I'll be happy to help you out and answer any questions you may have and see how we can help you in your business. But again, yeah, see you then.